What's up guys, welcome to Film and TV Reviews. Today I'm reviewing Season 2 of The Marvelous Mrs Maisel. And let me just sum it up right here. This is one of the best shows of this year. It was one of the best shows of last year. I think this season might even be better than the last season. And it's now become one of, if not my favourite TV show of all time. I absolutely love this show. It's really good. So go check it out if you haven't already. So, let's talk about the story. Midge Maisel is now a full-time comedian. She's still hiding it from her family. I'm not going to go into specifics about what happens this season, but it's full of dramatic moments. It has a good way of ending things in the middle of a scene or on a cliffhanger. It's also very funny. I think this season has really amped up the humour and the comedy, and it works really well, the balance of comedy and drama. 10 episodes, it is longer than the last season, but it's well paced, it never slows down, it never goes into a slump, it never feels too long. In fact, when it ended at episode 10, it left me wanting more, just like the last season, so that's great, and I can't wait to get more. Hopefully it'll be out by the end of next year, because it has already been renewed for season 3. The only slight negative I have about the story is that the father, played by Tony Shalhoub, his story doesn't always feel entirely necessary. He gets a lot of attention this season, and Tony Shalhoub is brilliant, by the way, in this role. But I feel like it's a bit of a distraction about what this show is really about. But again, it's funny, it's dramatic, it's still a good story, it just doesn't always feel like I need to know this or I need to see this. Moving on to talk about the characters. The characters are brilliant. They're all very likable, even the minor characters. They all feel very well developed, they all feel very well rounded. I think Rachel Brosnahan is absolutely brilliant, or dare I say marvellous, as the Marvelous Mrs Maisel. I've seen her in other things, and when she comes in this, she just is Mrs Maisel. She has a way of inhabiting a role. And I don't know if she's a method actor or actress, but it certainly comes across that she just becomes that character, and it's pretty incredible. I hope she gets a lot of award attention. She got it last time for season 1. I think also Tony Shalhoub is really good this season. He's one of the standouts this season because a lot of this season focuses on him more than it did in the last season. And her manager, who I can't remember the first name, but I think her second name is Borstein. It might be Alex Borstein, I don't know. Sorry, I'll look it up. But she's also really good. Her character can come across maybe as annoying or nagging, but she's actually really funny. She's hilarious at times, maybe even the funniest thing in the show, and no one even acknowledges how funny she is. She's giving these one-liners and jokes. She's very sarcastic, very rude at times, I would say, as well, but no one's just acknowledging how funny she is. It's as if she's just there saying her stuff, and it's just accepted that, yeah, that's normal speech. There are some really minor nitpicky points I want to talk about the characters. The first is that this show is filled with humour, and it's witty humour, very sarcastic, very off the nose, very fast-paced humour. That's fine, it's all very funny. The problem is that every single character has this. It's a trait that's common in all of them, and you'd think that because Midge is the only main character in the show that's being a comedian, that she'd be the one doing this, and she does do it. But it's like everyone else is coming out with these jokes and one-liners. They're not all treating it like they're jokes and one-liners, but they're hilarious regardless. So I think they should probably tone that down a bit, because it feels like every character has just got the same sense of humour. They're all just as funny as each other, and it doesn't quite feel right. There is one character moment, one story moment that I really did not like this season. And it's relating to Midge's brother. I'm not going to go into details, I'm not going to spoil it. But it's about halfway through the season, we find out about Midge's brother, and it just feels off. It doesn't feel like it fits into the show at all. It feels out of place. Basically, we know he works for some sort of government enterprise doing something. That's about it. Luckily, the brother character is very small, very minor. He only shows up every now and then. Hell, I forgot she even had a brother for the first half of this season. So that's how small and minor it is. So I get that this is a really small, minor, nagging, nitpicking point that I'm making. But so much of the show is about what's meant to be normal characters, a normal family, and then all of a sudden, this character has this revelation, this secret, and it just breaks that. They're no longer normal, it's immediately like they're extra normal or extra special, and it just doesn't quite fit into what this show has established itself to be. But they do move on past that, and they do try and delve into it. I expect they're going to go into it further in season 3. Maybe they'll patch it up and give some sort of greater explanation for this, but it just didn't sit right with me, this revelation about her brother. In terms of production, this is very well written. It's one of the best written shows I've seen in a long time. Very smart, very quick, very witty. They've talked about the humour quite a lot here. But it's also got great props, great sets, costumes, everything. If you like Mad Men and the 60s aesthetics and mise-en-scène, I think this has nailed that. It's even got a bigger budget, you can tell, because it's going outside a lot more this season. All the vehicles and the outside locations, really well done, really well realised, and it feels like the 1950s and 60s. It's brilliant, the way the show looks and feels. So that's The Marvelous Mrs Maisel Season 2, one of my favourite shows of this year. Perhaps one of my favourite shows of all time. I absolutely loved it. I do recommend you watch it. It's very funny, but it's not bad. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a comedy. I do think it's a drama with comedic moments, although the categorizations would probably say it's a comedy. There's that much humor in it, you could totally argue it's a comedy, but every episode is about an hour long. But anyway, I love this show. Go watch it, please. It's really, really good, and it deserves to be seen by as many people as possible, and it deserves to go on for quite a while more, because I want to find out what happens. Thanks for watching this review of The Marvelous Mrs Maisel Season 2. Tell me what you thought about it down below in the comments. If you liked it, let me know. If you've got questions about it, get them to me and I will answer them as soon as I can. You can also subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and leave comments and feedbacks of any sort down below, as long as they're not offensive or upsetting. But hey, you wouldn't do that now, would you? You can also go to Twitter and Instagram and follow me at @the_Grant_Burton. I post things regularly as I possibly can. Sometimes I don't, but hey, I've got other things to do with my life, you know. So that's the last review of this year. You can also check out Film and TV Weekly. I've also reviewed The Meg this week, so check those out. I'll be back next year. But until then, thanks for watching.